Hello again. It's TGIF, another Friday. I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday and that you're going to have a good New Year's Eve. I'm wondering if you're busy today, like we are here, getting ready for the coming of a winter storm. My husband is down in the garage right now trying to clear things out to make way for my car so that it won't be completely covered in ice and snow. I think we're supposed to get between 3 and 5 inches here and maybe some ice on top of some of the snow or underneath. So, and I don't know what prompted me to do this today, but I gave two of my dogs a bath this morning. Maybe I wanted them to be all fresh and clean smelling for the New Year's Eve party that we're not going to and not having tonight. The only party we're having is probably sitting on the couch watching television at home, safe, where we've spent most of the past 2 years, kind of huddled, hunkered down due to the pandemic mostly. I did get sort of ready for the new year this morning because I sat down and made several lists because I'm a Virgo and we're all list makers and organization freaks. But I wanted to begin looking forward to things that I need to do at home and in my business for 2022. I guess they're my form of New Year's resolutions, a to-do list. That's sick, I know, but when I made the list, it was 2 pages long, and all of a sudden I realized after rereading it that I hadn't written down anything fun to do in 2022. That's I'm not built really for building in fun. I'm just not used to it. I'm one of those people that was just too responsible, I guess. But I think that's something I need to do. That's the New Year's resolution I need to make. Um, Everything on my list right now is something that will make things look or run more smoothly here at home, or it might be an uncompleted writing or business project from 2021. And that's when I realized that I really needed to start thinking of my life for the new year like I'm a feather. Sherry and I have made feathers as part of the branding for our master class. We have a feather quill pen that we're going to give away for our journaling master class. We use this feather quill as part of our logo, part of our uh, website branding. And I've just collected feathers my whole life. I don't know why, but they just have always appealed to me. Uh, I've got this little drawer that I keep my feathers in, and here's I think this one might be a blue jay feather, and this one I'm not sure where this one came from, but it's one of my favorites. It's just a little spotted feather, just so cute, so little. And there's this feather here. It I'm not sure what kind it is either. And there's this one. And I have two more. This one is so tiny, and it looks like I think one of these, either one of these, is I kind of chose to look at them as if they were angel feathers. That's my feather collection. Occasionally, I'll get it out just to treasure these little flimsy things. I mean, they blow away so easily, and they're just so graceful as they float on the breeze. And I want to be like that in 2022. I want to stop resisting life and resisting my need to control every aspect of it. And it may be partly because of something I read this week in a book called The Gifts of Writing by Hope Koppelman. And Hope writes, a feather is not responsible for making the wind blow. A feather is only responsible for being a feather and doing what feathers do. And so are we only responsible for being who we are and doing what we know how to do. I wish I'd read that like 25 or 30 years ago. And if I'd realized the significance of it, I might have done things a little bit differently in my life. Because beginning at an early age, I was more like a stone or a bone instead of a feather. I've been resistant to change. Because of early childhood trauma, I was so hard and bottled up emotionally. In fact, the theme of my life, I think, has been to hold on to things really tightly. It was okay as a childhood defense mechanism for a while, but it began giving me problems as I got older. As some examples, I held on so tightly to the piano keys for years when I played the piano because I was so afraid of making mistakes and looking like a fool. Um, I held on to my emotions for fear of being hurt. I even really held on to myself, literally, figuratively, making myself so stiff that a wind could have easily knocked me over, literally or figuratively. I was just so afraid of making mistakes and looking like an idiot or a fool. This need to control myself so much led to even trying to control the people around me. Not so much in a bad way, but so that they wouldn't make mistakes or embarrass themselves the way I feared making mistakes. This kept me from finding a close relationship with God and with others. It kept me from accomplishing things, even from finding happiness. I'm finding now in my older age that it's only in letting go of my need to control that I can be more like a feather and go with the breezes to wherever God wants me to go. I'm not responsible for other people's actions or for their happiness. I can only control myself, and not so tightly so much anymore. Being rigid is just not the way to go anymore for me. I can't even begin to correct all the mistakes that I've made in my own life, let alone in the lives of people that I care about, friends, family. I can only close the book on those chapters, those bad choices, and start a new chapter with me playing the role of a feather, not resisting, not fighting everything that I don't approve of. Now I'm feeling the need to float on the breezes, maybe even the winds of change. And we've had a lot of those winds, actually, gales. And I think we're going to get some of those gales within the next 24 hours. I've I've got to go now where God sends me and do what He wants me to do, not what I have put on my to do list necessarily. Of course, I can't just be a lump of clay and just sit here. I've got to do what my heart tells me to do and what prayer gives me for inspiration and direction. My resolution for 2022 and beyond will be to go with the flow of life, not so much against the current. I've got to learn to let go and let God show me the beauty of life all around me and not try to force my round self into too many more square pegs. It's a little too uncomfortable to do that. How about you all? Can you visualize yourself as a feather in the new year? Do you have any specific resolutions for 2022? Has the pandemic made you approach life a little differently these past 2 years? Has it changed your attitudes in any way? I'd love to read your comments or even your resolutions if you feel like sharing them in the comments section of this video. The next time I do a Facebook Live, I hope to be able to share with you the details of the journaling masterclass we should be ready to launch early in the year. Until then, Happy New Year and good luck riding the breezes of 2022 and the changes. I hope that making like a feather will be a useful metaphor for you as we all approach this new chapter of our lives in 2022. Happy New Year.